Greetings everyone. So we'll say basic TT model implemented in Visual Sim, and what are these blocks used. So these three blocks that are the orange blocks are called the traffic blocks. These blocks generate traffic and then at certain interval of time and then send to a node. These nodes send this information or the traffic generated by these blocks to a bridge, and these bridge route this information to a certain destination. Here in case we use the node 7 as the destination. This node 7 is connected to a stats block or the statistic block. This statistic block can generate various types of output such as graphs, histograms or latency plots, text displays. So it's basically used to see what is incoming in this output node or the slave node. So it's basically a master-slave relationship. So these three are the masters, and this one is the slave that shows the output. And the traffic blocks that are connected to these nodes are assigned to a database. Like these database has the information of what type of traffic that it should generate. So now the question arises, what should be my traffic type or what should be my route to complete that particular assignment? So when we open a traffic block, the database of a traffic block, so you can see there are certain types, there are time triggered type traffic, the rate constraint type traffic, the Ethernet, and you can also see the task source and destination. So one has to go to 7, so the source and destinations are determined here itself, and we can further determine what route it should follow. For the timing, let's see what are the other parameters. So we can assign static and dynamic values for these parameters. So like for the bandwidth of assigned to this RC1 is static and set to 0.5, whereas the bandwidth assigned to the TT1 is a dynamic one. So it's calculated by this formula. And we have this byte size, what should be my task size for each type of traffic, what should be my start time and stop time. So these things you have to priorly mention these things because it's a determined traffic, so you have to determine each and every timestamp of the what should be my starting time, what should be my ending time of each traffic. These are the protocol, the TCP or the UDP you can assign here. The VLAN type, we have certain VLAN types, and what are the types. So these two will further see what are these. So in each block you can see that there are some source, destination, type and the same parameters. So as I said before, we can also determine the path it should follow. So it's implemented in the routing table. So one thing you should remember that we have task source as node 1 and task destination as node 7. And here the task destination of the database was to node 2 and destination was node 7. So this was my node 1, node 2, node 3 and this is my node 7. So everything has to go to node 7. So what should be my routing? So we can see here the node 1 goes to bridge 5 and then the bridge 5 sends that to node 7. Again node 2 sends the information to bridge 5 and then bridge 5 sends to node 7. Similarly for the node 3. Forget about this 1A, 2 and 3N and 1, 2, 1 is C, 2C and 3C because I'll explain that later. And we also have some other parameters like the link distance, like how distance can affect the latency. We have allocated bandwidth like 100 Mbps for each transaction. We also encountered some VLAN type in the traffic database. You can see here the VLAN type was set to 1, 2, 3, 4. So they correspond to this database VLAN. So it's predefined, so you don't have to do much. You just can use this as it is. And we have some more blocks like the traffic config and the TT setup. So TT setup should be placed as it is, and we have some more parameters inside this traffic config. So we'll see. So yeah, so we have assigned MAC ID. You can assign for MAC ID for the trigger traffic and for the rate constraint for the Ethernet, so that you can actually track those what's happening in this model. So we have assigned MAC ID for each token and you can see you can also change these MAC IDs. We have the stream reservation class for the rate constraint. So like rate constraint type of stream reservation A will have higher priority than the stream reservation of B. So it will work as it is, and we have this class to type that converts the class to a type, that's the A and B that we use, so it's converted into class for type 4 and type 3. So what's these type 4 and type 3? It's determined the other table. So we have the type here, so type 4, we have type 3, we have 7 type, so the types are from determined from 0 to 7, and each are like assigned to, like for the network control or the best effort or the background, so each are assigned to a bandwidth. So these numbers 0 0 or the 33 or the, so anyone which will use will be assigned to a bandwidth, and the total bandwidth, like the sum of this, the from 0 to 7 of node 1a or node 1 or node any other node should not exceed the bandwidth that's assigned inside the routing table, like this 100 Mbps. So if it allocate more bandwidth than this routing table, then it will throw an error. So this was a brief introduction of the things that we have used. We have certain parameters like the sim time of the simulation time. It's inside the digital simulator. The time for which it should be simulated. We have the trigger traffic maximum transmission unit. So it's set to 1518. So for normal untagged frame overhead, it's set to 1518, and for tagged Ethernet connection we will set it to 1522. We have the base period which is allocated in this TT config table, so for which time it will repeat itself. We have the Ethernet MPS, the bandwidth we have assigned. We have the header bytes for the time triggered, and Ethernet you can manually assign. So if it will be increased, it will consume more bandwidth per cycle. We have the TT shuffle percent, so it uses the shuffle algorithm, and which can be set to from 0 to 100. We have the link distance like in the feet, so it will, if we change this, you can see the latency increasing in the output.